Welcome to the Austin James Haines podcast. It's time to get free, stay present, and move forward. And more specifically for today's episode, how about supercharging your business? Maybe you have some shackles that you need to get free from so that you can grow your business. Well, today, this episode is for you. I'm joined by Mr. Jose Escobar, the founder of the Connected Leaders Academy. And I'm going to run through some details on Jose so we can get to know him, because I want you to get to know him not only for his business, but some of the personal things that he excels at as well. So Jose Escobar is an award-winning, nationally recognized personal development speaker, 9 times published author. I didn't even know that. You got 9 books. You're in 9 books, got 9 books out. Sales professional, husband, and father of 5 children. I want to ask you about that for sure. He leads compelling high-level communities consisting of entrepreneurs and advanced leaders through 2 multi-6-figure business models that have now surpassed 7 figures. Congratulations. The Entrepreneur's Bookshelf and the Connected Leaders Academy. Jose's magnetic personality shines in his presentations, where he has reached audiences collectively of over 29 million and radiates throughout his dynamic coaching programs, inspiring his international 350 plus entrepreneur and executive clientele to master their professional and personal excellence. And I know that number's climbing. We'll get into that. We probably have updated numbers there. His past sales experience led him to amass over 30 million in revenue for the companies he served. And this family man's sales and coaching in the martial arts industry has positively affected the lives of over 500,000 families for the better. So this is going to be a deep dive into Jose's world. I'm going to dig a little bit today. I promise you that. I want to see if I can get some secrets that Jose might be able to give us today. Jose, first of all, I want to say welcome. This is always a pleasure to sit and talk with you. We were going to be in person, but we're going to do that next week, so stay tuned for that. First of all, how are you doing today? And welcome.
I am always fantastic, Austin. And even if I wasn't, I wouldn't share that anyway, because who really cares at the end of the day, right? We're either up or we're getting up, but we're never down. And things are exciting right now. It's been a full day, and we're just kind of getting started with it, kind of. So thank you for the opportunity to be on your show, and excited to add value to others, to your audience, and of course, to just have a great discussion.
Yes. And for those of you that are on the live stream, I welcome you. You're amazing to be here live with us. And I want to invite you to make sure you go over to the podcast after. This is going to be uploaded. You'll be able to listen to this again. There's going to be lots of things you're going to be in this today. I know that you're going to want to hear again. If you're on the podcast, come over to the video. It'll be up on YouTube. And you might want to check out Jose's incredible collection of books that surround his backdrop. Jose, why don't you just slide over? Let us see this. We could screenshot this here. Let me just check this out. Let's just check. Awesome. Got a great collection of books, and you're always an avid reader. So let's get into this. Jose, I want to dig into, I know it's great to celebrate the accolades, and I think people can get lost in that, but what did you need to get free from? If we can go back a bit, that's one of the themes here: get free, stay present, move forward. And I want to see if there's a point that you can think of, or a season that you had to literally get free. You were like, you felt like you were in bondage, you struggled. Can we go back and revisit that?
Yeah, so without question, first of all, the books behind me are just a portion of my books. I have books all over my office, everywhere, top to bottom. It's crazy. My goal is to have at least 10,000 books in my home office here in my house, and eventually have a library of tons of books. I want to have hundreds of thousands of books in my own personal library. That's the bigger vision.
Wow.
Right? But anyway, about your question, what had me kind of shackled in chains, not breaking free? And for me, it was very simple. It was the lack of discipline. Being undisciplined had me held back for so long. because I was always going with the shiny object syndrome. What's the next hottest thing out there? I was always looking for that next coach to give me a next golden nugget. I was always looking for the next event to go to. I'm looking for the next book to read. I'm looking for the next course or mastermind. I mean, you name it, I've done it all, right? And so many, and when I say I've done it all, I mean, I've done all kinds of these things, right? But we never do it all because there's too much out there in the world, right? So, but I was doing all these things and I'm so distracted all the time. I didn't have the discipline to actually implement and take action on the things that I was doing. And if I did, I didn't do it long enough to actually see the results because I was always jumping and moving to this next thing, right? And I was never consistent. So for me, it was lack of discipline without question.
I want to talk about this because oftentimes you think about freedom, being able to do whatever you want. I often hear people say it was in discipline they found freedom, which is really paradoxical when you think about it. Freedom, I just want to run free and do whatever I want. Can you speak to that, this discipline? And also, was there something specifically, because I want to dig here, like you're in this state, you talked about kind of an overview. You're in this state, you're not disciplined. What were you feeling? And what was there a moment where you decidedly said no mas?
Yeah.
And then you took action?
Yes, there was a moment, and I'll speak to that in a second. But specifically speaking to the freedom and discipline piece that you talked about, I actually read a phenomenal book by Jocko Willink, right? The Navy SEAL.
Yes.
A lot of people know him. He wrote a great book called Extreme Ownership, which I absolutely love, and I follow the footsteps of the blueprint of that book because at the end of the day, everything falls back on you as a leader, right? So, but he also wrote another great book called Discipline Equals Freedom. And that's exactly what you're speaking to. Discipline equals freedom. I also devoured that book, and I also took copious notes and commonplace a lot of moving parts from that book, and I reference that book all the time. And
Great.
discipline does equal freedom because ultimately, the less options we have available to us, the more disciplined we can be. And it actually gives us more freedom because we're shackled to so many different things and so many things that enslave us in the lack of discipline, that if we just had less options, we become more free because we can actually do the things that we need to do, right? And ultimately, financial freedom and personal freedom go back to the fact that you have less things that you're involved with, less things that you're constantly distracted by, and less addictions and all kinds of things that is really giving us less freedom. We think the more we can do, the more options we have, the more freedom we have, but it actually enslaves us with our time and our energy and our efforts. And when we have less and we're so laser focused on what we need to do, all of a sudden the doors of freedom open up. And I've experienced that myself without question. So in terms of what was that pivotal moment for me, there was an aha moment, there was an epiphany, there was that time and place where I said, this is it. This is the turning point, right? This is the flashpoint. This is the time where I need to actually do something and implement. And that was January 15th, 2022. And I've had a couple of these moments, right? One was when I left my job, which is a whole different conversation, which you had a role in that.
Yeah.
But the other one, the first one, the main one was when I needed to just launch a business and actually make money, because I was investing in courses, programs, coaches, mentors, summits, boot camps, conventions, seminars, masterminds, you name it. I was books, courses, all these things. I easily spent over 6 figures in like 10 years on just personal development, right? I was a professional seat warmer. So it got to the point where
I like that.
Yeah, my wife said, Jose, she had a talk with me January 15th of 2022. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Wow, that's
She
awesome.
said, Jose, listen, the sandwich method, compliment, message, compliment, right? She said all these nice things. I love you. I respect you. You're doing great things for the family, and it's admirable, inspirational. I love your drive, all these things. But at some point, you got to start making money. And that hit me like a ton of bricks, Austin, right in the chest. And I said,
You
wow.
felt that one in the heart, right?
Yeah. It was a bitter pill to swallow. And I had to swallow my pride and my ego. And I went for a walk. I had a cigar. I took some time in prayer and meditation and journaling. And I just kind of was isolated for that day. And I accepted it because she was absolutely right. And I said, at this point, if I'm going to create a legacy for my family, if I'm going to change our entire future trajectory of where we're headed as a family, if I'm going to create massive impact in the world, if I'm going to have financial and personal freedom, guess what? Something has to give. At some point, I got to take massive action. And that day happened. I launched 2 businesses and everything took off from there.
I want to give your wife credit too, because for her to approach you that way, it's really important. I think sometimes we get upset in a relationship, and people fly off the handle. They do weird, and your wife just had the consciousness to sit down with you and just have a heart to heart conversation, and then give you the time to process it. So I just think that's really amazing, and I think that it's part of your success, no question about it. Having that, having Katie in your corner, so that's awesome. I just wanted to share this before it escapes me. And I'm not sure if you heard this quote, but going back to the distraction and being focused and disciplined, this is a quote: "Evil is whatever distracts. Evil is whatever distracts." That's by Franz Kafka. That kind of may be extreme for some people, but it just goes in line with creating this discipline that you talked about January 15th, making this decision. And now it's just been great to watch this grow. So let's talk about that in this moment. Now you've just had this beautiful growth that's consistent. And what's your number now in the Connected Leaders Academy? Are you well over 350?
We're at 359 paid members in 44 states across the US and 19 international countries.
This is great. So what I want to do, I'm going to deviate a little bit because I want to give folks an opportunity to connect with this. So if you are on the live stream or the video, I'm going to see if I can just pull up this some information on the Connected Leaders Academy here, which is connectedleadersacademy.com. And you can go there. Jose's got a great video there. You can see what the details are. So let me see if we can get that up here. There it is. Okay. We can all see that. So if you're on the live or on the video, you'll see it. It says unlock your entrepreneurial potential. Join the global movement of high performers at the Connected Leaders Academy for unparalleled growth, influence, and success. And Jose's got the link there. You can watch the video. It's about 7 minutes long, gives you all the backdrop, learn more about the Connected Leaders Academy. I think that's a great first step for folks that want to expand. I think getting around your tribe and your people and what you're building, that's a great first step. Is there anything you want to share about the Connected Leaders Academy while we're on here live?
Yeah, first of all, honored to have Austin Haines as one of our founding members. He's been with us for quite some time, and from the very beginning, early stages. We've been around for 2 years now, 2 years and some change, maybe a month or so. And things are happening. Things are happening, and we're doing it with the right people. So first of all, just so you know, the Connected Leaders Academy is not just another community. It's not just another paid group. There's plenty of those out there. It's not a pitch fest community either. There's enough out there already. I don't want to create one more, right? The CLA, for sure, the CLA is a community where you have to qualify to be here, number one. Number two, you have to fit the culture of our community. And number three, by you joining the CLA, we have to be better because you're here, and we have to be able to equally serve you. So it's a win-win, two-way street, right? So in terms of, just so you know, people out there, you have to have a business to be here. You have to have a success track record already and or an expertise in your space, and your ego has to fit through a door. We're looking for folks who understand it doesn't matter how successful they are, there's always a next level, right? And the culture of our community is a very simple culture. Coffee first, business second. It's a culture of servant leaders, heart-centered entrepreneurs, business owners that understand the law of reciprocity. And by being a part of this community, guess what happens? You're going to get on more podcasts, more shows, more speaking engagements. You're going to build lifelong friendships with growth-minded entrepreneurs. You're going to get referrals, leads, collaborations, endorsements, more clients, more money. All of these things happen. Our retention rate is massively high. We're growing at the pace of about 2 new members a day on average. And that is organic. Can I tell you that, right? And the last thing I'll say about this before we move on is I've co-authored 8 books and wrote one of my own, 9-time award-winning best-selling published author. Guess what? All of those books that I co-authored, guess where I found those books opportunities? In the CLA. I've spoken on over 100 stages in 2 years, about once a week on average. And guess where I found all of those stages except for 2, right here in the CLA. Podcasts and shows, 60 in 2022, 78 in 2023. I've already been on like 15 or 20, something like that this year. And guess where I've been, where I found all those opportunities? Right here in the CLA. You don't have to look very far to grow here.
Right. So this is a great opportunity. And we talked about supercharging your business. You know, I don't want to speak for you, but what's the first step for that? Like if somebody's struggling, what would be their first step to supercharge their business?
Step one is you got to shift what's in here, the mindset,
Okay.
right? Because everything in life is born twice, first in the mind, then in the physical plane, right? So many people are looking for the external things, like the people who, good to see you, TJ. People are looking to wait until somebody gives them permission to win. Somebody gives them an opportunity. You have the money, you have the resources, you have the people in place, you have the time. No, no, no. It's not about having the resources. It's about being resourceful and figuring it out along the way, right? So that is step one, is get in the right mindset that you are capable and you can do whatever it is you want to do right now. You don't have to wait for the right time or the right resources or whatever, right? Start now wherever you are. Number one. Number two is create a plan. Put the plan on paper. What does it look like? Begin with the end in mind, right? Write down the ultimate goal and then reverse engineer it and ask yourself, what are those steps I need to take in order to actually make that happen? A goal is not a goal until it's written down. So write down your plan. And then number three is execute the plan. And don't just execute, you got to take massive action. You got to I'm the kind of guy who jumps off of a plane and figures out how to land, right? That's the reality. Don't get caught up in the details, right? Don't major in the minors. Just say, you know what, I'm going to take action on this plan and I will look back and I will clean it up along the way, because you will make a mess. It's better to have a mess to clean up than to have nothing at all and just be sitting there waiting one day when the time is right. The time will never be right. So mindset, shift it, think bigger, believe in yourself. Number two is create a plan, put it on paper. And number three is execute on the plan on a massive level. And I guarantee you, with those three things alone, and then if you implement some discipline and systems like a morning routine and an evening routine, sky's the limit.
I love that. And I was going to add to that, get interested or go find out about the Connected Leaders Academy, because Jose just gave you a lot. You can listen to this again, especially if you're on the podcast, take some notes here, write this stuff down, get it emblazoned into your mind. But if you don't have the time to think about all that, just go find out about the Connected Leaders Academy, and just being around those folks will get you moving. So you don't have to overthink. That's your next logical step for many of you listening. And the benefits will be enormous. So thanks for giving those tips for everybody, Jose. Is there a secret ninja tip that you have that you can give us?
Absolutely. Ninja tip here. This is gold. And the ninja tip is I'm going to give you something super powerfully important that if you just take this alone, you can completely level up your business like this. Everybody needs a primary foundational product in their product suite, right? What does your product suite look like? I have books. I have merchandise. I have a paid membership community. I have courses. I have programs. I have a high ticket mastermind. I have events, right? So I have something at the lowest level of $20, $25, all the way up to a 35K mastermind and everything in between. So you got to identify your product suite, right? What are the products and services that I can offer based on my area of expertise, number one. And then the second thing is you got to understand what the core product is. What is my main thing that I'm pushing? And the main thing has to be something as inexpensive as a book, or something as inexpensive as a paid membership, right? Where people join you at a small amount and there's a recurring revenue, a membership, right? So I would say membership or a book. That core product is designed to become a database of clients, right? Because you're building a database. And then what happens as you build this database of clients, you start to then say, hey, by the way, Austin, have you purchased this book yet?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, by the way, Austin, I have an event coming up I want you to be at. By the way, I have this mastermind. By the way, you start getting people to do other things, because the reality is it is 10 times easier to sell to a client that has already put money in your pockets,
right,
just to sell to a prospect. So that's the ninja secret, is get a core product, run with that, stop marketing like 50 things, market one thing, and then you open the doors to everything else from that one thing.
Right. And I want to point out here that you do a great job of building relationships. It's not just buy my product. I think that's worth pointing out, that you just gave some gold, but this is about building relationships with these folks and serving them like you're doing in your community, Jose. And they're going to want to enroll with you. They're going to want to find out about your book, Winning the Day. TJ saying, I loved Jose's book, Winning the Day. a total game changer in my daily routine. And you were just holding up that book. And so this is great. So I want to get to a couple more things before we're going to be coming into a close here in the next few minutes. But what is your vision now to move forward? Get free, stay present, move forward. What is your big vision, Jose?
The big vision, first of all, we all need to have a why, right? That backs everything that we do, with a mission, a vision, and a purpose. If you don't have the vision, mission, and purpose, you're not going to know what to turn down. You're not going to know what to say yes to, what to say no to. And you have to be able to make those decisions, right? There's this phenomenal book called Hell Yeah or No, right? What's worth doing? And we gotta know like what it is that we should be doing and what we should not be doing, where you need to spend your time and your energy and your resources, right? So the long-term vision of what I'm doing here is really global impact. I'm impact driven, not money driven. I would rather help people, and I know by default over time I'll make money, right? You help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. Zig Ziglar.
Yes,
That's that mentality. So that is the philosophy behind what I do. And the bigger vision is the CLA is not just another community, it's a movement. What we're doing here is we're helping entrepreneurs come together so we can serve each other at a higher level in an organic, intentional way, right? We're serving each other. And then by default of serving each other, guess what happens? We automatically become better entrepreneurs. And when we become better entrepreneurs, we can serve our clients better. And when we serve our clients better, the world becomes a better place. So I'm looking to have millions of members in the CLA, right? Start with 1 million and then grow from there, have millions of members in over 100 plus countries, changing the world changers, impact players. That is what I'm after. I'm not after a few members here and there or selling a few products and services. I'm in the business of changing lives and creating global impact and creating legacies and having other people create legacies for their families too along the way.
I love it. And I can attest to you're going to do it. I've watched you sit in the audience at the business boot camp in Camden with Emilio and Daniela. And now you are making global impact. You have made global impact. The ripple is already in motion and it's beyond you already. And that's exciting to think about as a leader. When you think about that, even if you stopped tomorrow, not that you will, but the ripple is already in motion. So this is great. Is there a poem that you like, Jose?
There is absolutely a poem that I love, not that I like, that I love. There's this poem called The Jump, which I happen to have here next to me. And it's called The Jump. It's framed. It's a limited edition, one of a kind by Austin J. Haines, right? And it's called The Jump. And if you don't mind, I'm going to very quickly read it.
I was just going to ask you to read it because it would be an honor to have you read it.
Yeah, it says here, until you jump, you do not know how far you will fall or how high you will go. It's painful to stay, but it's scary to leave. One thing is sure, you can no longer live in between. Straddling two worlds worked for a while, but now you long for the faith of a child. You consider each scenario with unyielding precision, and lo, there really is only one decision. You step to the ledge with fire and zeal. You reconnect to spirit, and now you feel. Death and life now hang in the balance. Time to muster up all of your talents. All forces together in your moment. No turning back and no way to relent. You make the leap and overcome your fear. Passion fueled as you embark on a new frontier. Never to return to what you once knew. Faith and courage will now see you through. Powerful poem. And this poem actually, not only was it auctioned for thousands of dollars at my birthday event about a year ago, for Marilyn Morales' Izzy's Legacy event, and all the great impact it's created, this poem is what sparked me leaving my full-time career. I was a sales director for a global martial arts company. I read that poem from you, and it made me think. And you said, Jose, I have something coming out. You need to think about this thing. And I read it, and I heard it, and I heard you recite it over and over. And that poem wouldn't leave my mind. And I said, I don't have it all figured out yet. All my ducks are not in a row. It might be premature, but I'm straddling two worlds at one time. Right? I said I'm straddling two worlds. And then there's another thing here that says it's painful to stay, but it's scary to leave. Right? And I was just like, you know what? I just got to do it. and I did it, and I never looked back. And
Wow.
I've been a full-time entrepreneur. My wife left her career. She's a stay-at-home mom, homeschooler, which is what you want. And by the way, I have a special CLA member here that wants to say hello, VIP.
Oh,
But
cool.
that's a powerful, really powerful poem.
Yeah, and I'm honored. Just to hear you read it, I got chills, man. It's really powerful. And I'm grateful it found you. I'm grateful you have it. And I want to invite you, if you are on this live or podcast, wherever you're getting this, I'm working on my first poetry book. So I'm going to share that quick clip right now. And then we're going to, I guess you got a CLA member in visiting you now in the house. So we're going to find out who that is.
I have
All
a
right.
special CLA member who's here actually. Let me get her 1 second.
Okay. So I'm gonna show this little clip and then we'll come back with you. All right, everyone. So this has been amazing. Let me share this with you. Seeds of Infinitude 2024. And I want to invite you to follow this, subscribe to this podcast. This is going to be a traveling podcast. Oh my goodness. Jose, who do we have here?
We have a CLA member, as you can see here.
Oh, look at the shirt.
And okay, you can sit down. And her name, say hello.
Hi.
Hi. What's your name? I know your name.
Zaylee.
Again?
Zaylee.
Zaylee. Zaylee, I'm so glad to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Good.
What do you think about Dad and what he's doing here?
Happy.
You're happy. You're happy. What do you most like about it?
What do you like the most about CLA and everything?
How he makes money.
And
Wow.
why
From the mouth of babes, right?
why do we make the money? For what?
To buy stuff.
And then what else? What else? This is going downhill, Austin.
No, she's doing great.
So you've met a lot of CLA members, right?
Yeah.
And can you name a couple that you like, that you connected with?
Nick
Mm-hmm.
and Raul.
Mm-hmm.
Nick and Raul.
How about two more?
Mm,
And Antonio.
Antonio.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so anything you want to tell people out there that are watching you right now, a message that's a nice message to make people feel happy. What would that message be?
Bring love to them.
Bring love to them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay. Well, very good. So yeah, she's our honorary CLA member. She's 6 years old, and her name is Zaylee Rose. So any final thoughts, Phil?
What does that mean?
Any last thing you want to say before you go? Quickly.
Okay. We're not in a rush, but
Anything you want to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
that was well, Zaylee, I just want to say that was you're beautiful, and you just gave a beautiful message to everybody. So thank you for being here today.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's say bye. That's
Bye.
awesome. All right.
Bye.
Close the door behind you.
Wow, that was just precious, Jose. That was precious. You
Yeah,
know what? They're not. You know what, Jose? They're not going to. Nobody's going to care about what you just talked about. They're going to want to hear that.
Yeah. Oh, look, she has some pictures that she made for you guys here.
Oh, she showed some pictures.
Some
Oh, so if you're on the podcast, you got to come over.
pictures.
So let me see. That was a nature scene.
Yeah, nature scene here. It looks like.
Here, let me put it up on the big screen here so we can see it.
Okay, there's that. Oh, she did her own logo of the CLA, if you noticed that. That's so funny. It's like shaking hands there with hearts. And then it looks like me and her and the mountains and the sun and a little rabbit, I think.
Jose, I got to get this. So one tip, you got 5 children, you got a wife, you're a loving husband, father. What's the tip for somebody that has a busy life and they can't, like you made the jump with those responsibilities. And I just want to hear it, like speak to that person who is, they're drowning in responsibilities. They got husband, wife, kids, in-laws. Like, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I hear it all the time, Austin, that I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I feel that it's not a matter of having time or not having time, because we all have 24 hours in a day. We've heard that, right? It's more, is this thing a priority? So if building a business is a priority, you will make the time, right? You will create the time in your calendar. We just have to create it. Sometimes that means waking up earlier. Sometimes it means going to bed later. Sometimes it means both, right? It is a hard journey. Is there something called work-life balance? May not be a popular answer, but I think the pursuit of a work-life balance is a real thing, and it's a noble thing. Is there actually work-life balance in a totality of consistently? No. There are times where we fall short here, fall short there, because we're all in, right? And I'm an all-in kind of guy. But what I also know is that my calendar, this is advice now, tips. My calendar, I put my faith and my family on the calendar first, and I work around everything else. And then I put appointments, then I put health and wellness, I put meetings, I put events, I put all these things after that, because that is a priority and you will make the time for it. So if you are going way too hard in your business and forgetting about your family, I ask you to pause, hit the brakes, do some reflection, and ask yourself, how can I fix that with my calendar and put the family first and your faith first? If you are already heavily involved with your family and you're finding trouble launching your business because you don't have the time to do the side hustle, right? Just create the time, right? Create the time, put the time in your calendar, and we all have it, right? We all have it. So there is time. You just got to make it happen. You got to create it. You got to create it. And it's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take all the things that most people aren't willing to do, which is why most people aren't blowing it up. That's just a reality.
Well, you are embodying it. I'm glad you shared that. And what an honor to have you on the show as we are branching out. You've been listening to the Austin James Haines podcast, soon to be a traveling podcast. Make sure you follow. If you're on the podcast, you're going to want to see Zaley and Jose in his office. And if you are on the video, make sure you go subscribe to the podcast. It's the best way to help me. This is self-funded and promoted right now. We're going to be building. But yeah, share, follow along. And I'm just honored to have you here, Jose. This has been such a pleasure. And we're just getting ready. We're just getting started. I just want to point people, where should the best place to connect with you to close out is just to go to the Connected Leaders Academy?
Yeah, just go to connectedleadersacademy.com, www.connectedleadersacademy.com. If you would like a copy of my book, Winning the Day, just check out winningthedaybook.com. Again, www.winningthedaybook.com. I have 2 live events coming up, CLA Virtual Conference, which you can check out the website, clavirtualconference.com. That's February 24th, one-day event, virtual, global, amazing stuff happening there. And then we have the CLA Global Summit. That's a live in-person event here in May in my backyard of Maryland. And that's going to be hundreds and hundreds, close to 1,000 entrepreneurs from all over the world under one roof for a weekend, Cinco de Mayo weekend, May 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Just check out www.claglobalsummit.com. You can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn. Would love to connect with you.
And I will put all those links in the show notes of the podcast. And that's available on Apple, Spotify. You can go to my website, austinjhaines.com. There's a link for the podcast there. You'll see the notes. All of Jose's links will be there. So you don't have to remember, write them down, just go there. So everyone, thanks for being here. And we will be back with you next time. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.